Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about today part 2 of perspective mode mounting. Now, what I have got here is I brought this is a Summit mount. This is a Summit mount that I use. I've got a couple of these. When you have it in perspective mode, and I keep mine pretty tight because I don't want it to hit a stump and come off. But when you have it in perspective mode, you're allowed to adjust it all the way. Where Garmin's is about that angle right there, you're allowed to adjust it essentially all the way down and all the way where it's actually almost pointing upwards. Now, we talked about in the first one, Garmin's angle, which I believe is an incorrect angle. It would be okay for deeper water, but since I believe as a whole that perspective mode is a shallow water technique, I believe that you need to be able to adjust your angle based on what you're trying to do. And right now we're talking about seeing our bait higher in the water column. That is fishing top water, spinner baits, crankbaits, swim baits, glide baits, and things of that nature. So right now we're going to talk about what happens when you position it too low. As I've said just a second ago, here is Garmin's angle, not the optimum angle to me. But if you go too low, here's the problem that persists itself too. If you go below Garmin's, if we were in deeper water, this would be better. But since we're in 6 foot of water, let's say, because that's what perspective mode really shines at, is that shallow water. Since we're in deeper, shallower water, 6 foot, 0 foot here, and we got our install depth about a half a foot to a foot. This is where Garmin's is, and you notice it shines out. So there's a huge area of black. Now we discussed this in the first video, but let's just say some people are saying, man, I got a whole area of black. And so you want to angle it down where you can see that area of black beneath your boat. Well, here's the problem. As your bait is thrown out now, we're looking at it, it's way too low. Now, if a stump is right up under the boat, you could actually throw a crankbait out, hit the water, and it come down, and you would only see it for about a foot or 2 foot in the beam, and you'll swear, I can't see my bait. I can't see my bait. I can't see my bait. I hear this so often. And it's almost to the point where people are so obsessed, and I don't mean that in a negative way, because you do have Livescope and you want to see the bait. I get it. But you're so obsessed with seeing your bait that you'll start thinking your unit isn't working properly. When it's not your unit working properly, it's simply you angling the transducer. Garmin is in the middle. I guess it's a good all-purpose, but it's not my favorite. This is too low. They're trying to close that black area up beneath the boat. That's just too low because you have all of this area out here. And so, you start chasing the, I want to see my bait. When the main purpose of perspective mode is, in shallow water, is to be able to see the fish that are up off the bottom. As those fish are here and here, or suspended over that stump, or the stump that's out here, I know that's a horrible stump, and there's a fish suspended over the top of it, those fish are what you're trying to see in perspective mode. So what we have here is a transducer that is too low, and therefore you miss 80% of your coverage area. Yes, you're going to close that black area in that's right around the transducer, and you'll see your bait when it comes through that one little zone right there. But you're limiting yourself by angling it too low. So we want to try to make sure now, in part 3, I'm going to show you how the proper angle is for seeing all of this area. Whoa! And maybe I won't throw the board down, but I'm going to show you the proper angle for seeing all of this area. That way you can throw buzz baits, top waters, whatever, spinner baits, crank baits, swim baits, glide baits, and cover all of this area. So that is what we're going to discuss in part 3. So now we know, and I will go back to this mount because it's a mount that I use and I really love it. They're $50. They're tough as nails. It's a Summit fishing equipment mount. I've used them. It was the very first thing I ordered accessory-wise for Livescope. This is my second one, and I've got 3 or 4 because he has sent me some, and I am very thankful for that. But I have one on my boat. I did break one time. I hit a stump pretty hard, and it broke. And that was my fault, but I broke it right there on the hinge. I called him or messaged him on Facebook, and he sent me another one. They have a lifetime guarantee on them. They're really robustly built. They're not heavy, and the one thing I will tell you to do is put a drop of super glue right there. Even though it has a lock nut, it does tend to loosen up as you turn it back and forth. That's why mine is real rigid, because once I get it to the tightness I want, I can go ahead and put that, little bit of just a drop of super glue to tighten it up. I love it because of the infinitely adjustable mount. You can go up, you can go down, you can get the angle, but in part 3, we're going to talk about the proper angle for seeing all that good stuff. But before we go, I do want to say this. The website is live, it's ready to go. We have the apparel on there. We got the double G hats on there. We have all the swim baits on there. We're going to be adding some more swim baits. We're going to start adding some finesse worms and things like that. And I'm trying to get the pricing where it's affordable and you're able to purchase it. I drop free shipping on all the baits. We dropped that. I made it where there's 2 baits in a pack, excuse me, or no longer. We do one bait. You can individually choose. Instead of having to buy 2 6 inches or 2 5 inches or 2 4 inches, you can buy 4, a 5, a 6. You can buy any combination. You can buy 5 6s, 3 4s. You can do anything you want to get the setup you need. Now, I'm going to start offering also some of the baits, and I'm going to grab one real quick. I'm going to start offering some of these 4-inch hand pullers without the shad dots in more simpler colors like pearl and the smoke. And the reason we're going to do that, and we're going to do them without eyes, is I'm going to try to cheapen the price down, not cheapen up the bill because it's the same rubber, but what we're going to do is make the affordability of them. That way you can put these on A-rigs, because what I usually do is put them on, I put this, my 3-inch, 3.5-inch rippers on there, and then I would put this as my back one. Well, I've started putting like 5 of these on here, but then I got to notice and I said, when you're throwing 5 baits on an A-rig with the blades flashing and 5 of them, you don't need as much detail in them. So what I'm going to do is take away the shad dots, start pouring some solid colors, pearls. I'm going to start pouring some pearls, some golds, and some smoke gray, smoke with like charcoal grays, and just try to get it to where there's an affordability where you can get in there and say, and I'm looking at this tentatively in the $10 to $12 range. Don't know the exact price yet, but looking at being able to equip a full A-rig, and still that's out in the open, but we're still working on that. But we'll have a full A-rig setup, and probably here's where I'm leaning, is having 4 of these and then doing one with the shad dot with the eyes that you can put on your back main hook. Probably that way you'll have a complete A-rig setup. You can buy it, purchase, bam, 5 baits, put them on. You put the one with all the eyes, the better detail on the back hook, because that's where they strike mostly, and bam, you'll have a complete setup. You'll be able to purchase it, bam, put it on your A-rig and go fishing. And so it'll be perfect, and then we'll get those down to a more of an affordable price. That way you can purchase them and have a better setup. That's going to be really awesome. And I think it's going to be a good deal. But guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned tomorrow for the part 3, and that's where we discuss the proper angle for perspective mode. But guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and you better ring that bell.